This man minute. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Today, I want to talk about something pretty interesting. And it's something I've thought about for a long period of my life. And helping men around the world, like I have for the last 6 years, this is something that comes up quite a bit. And so, the title of this episode is Stop Using Your Dick to Solve Your Heart Problems. Yeah, I said it. And you know exactly what I mean when I talk about this. How many times have you felt disconnected from your wife or your girlfriend or even yourself, and you try to fix it with sex? You've used sex to try to relieve the pain of life. You're feeling tension, so you try to seduce her so you feel better. You're feeling insecure, so you chase validation through a hookup so you feel better. Right? You're feeling emotionally closed off, so you expect sex to open you up. But here's the truth. It's the ultimate truth. You can't fuck your way to emotional connection. It's just not going to happen. See, there's an illusion of sex as a solution for men. I hear it all the time. I've used it before. Like, oh, it's such a relief. Oh, I needed that. Oh, I feel so much better. I just need to come and I'll feel better. Let's get real. Sex is super powerful. I love it more than you can even think of. It creates connection. It creates intimacy and pleasure, but it's not a shortcut to emotional depth. See, we misunderstand connection because men connect through physical intimacy. The feminine connects through emotional intimacy. We think that people should just hop in the sack and make it happen and everything's okay. But the way of the world, the way of polarity, the way of relating, especially with a feminine partner, is that we can't use our line of reasoning to reason them. A lot of high performing men think if they can just perform better in the bedroom, the emotional side of the relationship will magically fix itself. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to look good, to feel good, to perform well. But that doesn't create connection with the feminine. Right? If she's feeling distance, we think sex will bring her back. That's not it. If we're feeling disconnected, we try to create intimacy physically instead of emotionally because that's how we think. If we feel like we're losing control, we try to reclaim it sexually. We try to become out of the blue dominant, tell him what we're going to do and all this stuff. The problem is sex without emotional depth is empty for you and for her. It sounds good. It looks good on paper, right? It might have sounded good when you were 21, 19, 22. But when you're in a relationship that's committed, that's consistent, that's desiring depth, and hopefully you are desiring depth in your marriages, then you have to realize, like, in order to have depth with the feminine, emotional connection has to be there. Because if it's not, the physical intimacy won't be there. What you'll learn if you're a young guy on this episode, and if you're an older guy, you'll agree, as you get into a marriage, if you don't pay attention to the needs of your partner, the needs of you don't get taken care of either. Like, we have operated for so long in this kind of like bachelor mindset that if I don't get what I want, I'll just go somewhere else and get it. But once you get married, that bachelor mindset has to go out the fucking window because you're convicted and committed to one person. And if you're convicted and committed to that one person, then you have to consistently show up to meet the needs of that person if you want your needs met also. You have to be the standard. Right? In order to have physical intimacy of any regard in a deeply connected relationship, there has to be a level of emotional intimacy. Because the emotional intimacy opens each of you up to a higher level of physical connection. All right? The reason why sex as the answer doesn't work is because you're using sex as a distraction from doing the real work. Like, you're thinking that this this little thing that I do will make everything better. But the reality is it's going to rear its ugly head again until you do the work on it. You're trying to bypass vulnerability with dominance. It's another thing we do. Like we think by being dominant or taking control or asking for what we want, that we don't have to be vulnerable. If we could just give her a good time in the bedroom, then we don't have to open ourselves up. That's just not going to happen. I mean, I'm here to tell you, no matter how great you are in the bedroom, if you're in a deeply committed relationship, that doesn't matter if the emotional connection is not there. I think the third part of this is like your hope and physical connection will make you emotionally make up for your emotional avoidance. Too many men believe that being emotionally avoidant protects them from their partner, I guess, or from themselves, I guess. Because when you face your own emotions and you face your own shadows and you face your own wounds, like shit has to shift. And if you can avoid those feelings and you can avoid those wounds and you can avoid those pains and you can avoid the truth, you don't have to do anything different. And so you use physical connection or the idea of it to avoid yourself, which is never going to be productive, not for you, definitely not for the relationship, because I promise you, your feminine partner can feel that. When you're avoiding of yourself, she feels you being avoidant of her, because what she wants from you is an open version of you, a full-hearted version of you, not this full hard penis. So she don't want that. She wants a fucking full-hearted in the heart-centered leader out of you. Right? She feels it. Women are highly in tune to your emotional energy. And if you are disconnected emotionally, if you're avoiding emotionally, if you're trying to numb yourself physically so you don't feel emotions, she knows it. When you treat sex as a tool to cover up emotional disconnection, she doesn't feel seen. She doesn't feel heard. She doesn't feel appreciated or understood. She feels used. And that's when the polarity starts to break down. Right? When you're using sex as an instrument instead of like this is an output of a deeply connected relationship. Like great physical intimacy is an outcome of deep connection within the relationship, deep polarity within the relationship. Most people use sex as a tool and they pull out their tool bag to try to fix things when things are broken. It's just not the way it fucking goes. It's not the way to happiness in the relationship. It's not the way for deep connection within the relationship. It's not the way for you to feel aligned with your partner. Connection comes from presence, not performance. Right? The truth is your heart problems won't be solved in the bedroom. They'll be solved in the way you show up outside of the bedroom. Let me say that again. Your heart problems, and I'm not saying like you need to go see a cardiologist. I'm talking about your connection problems won't be solved in the bedroom. They will be solved outside of the bedroom. And when I say that, I'll give you some examples. Are you listening to her without trying to fix her? That's an important one. Can you hold space just to hear her without trying to fix it? Are you staying grounded when she's emotional instead of reacting? Like, are you actually there for her emotionally in such a way that she can fall apart into you and build herself back up together, back up to herself with you without you stepping in and trying to show her how to do it? Are you showing up with integrity and consistency, not just when you want to get sex? I know a lot of men do this shit. Like they do this thing I call chore play, where they do a lot of things when they want to get fucked. I'm going to do a lot of good things today, so I'll get fucked today. And then tomorrow they'll act like a dickhole. Like integrity and consistency of being a great man doesn't get fucking days off. You don't get to fucking pick and choose when you're a fucking good human. You're either a good human or you're a piece of shit. And if all you're doing is trying to be good so you get fucked, you're a fucking manipulative bastard. Sex is not a tool. Sex is an outcome. An outcome of you being a great man, you being grounded in who you are, you being able to hold space for the woman that you quote unquote love in such a way that you show support, understanding, and appreciation for who she is as a human. The outcome of that is deep emotional connection, and that leads to deep physical desire for the feminine. Men, for the most part, we're just physically desiring of our feminine partner. That's just who we are. We're fucking primal savages at best. But you got to learn the game of relationships, especially deep relationships. Now, if you're fucking single and you're just soiling your royal oats, as they say, you're out there just fucking everything, then you're not actually involved in a deep, intimate relationship that's going to require you to do the work of this. But if at some point you want to get married, if at some point you want to have a relationship that lasts longer than a couple weeks or a couple fucks, then you're going to have to learn emotional connection. You're going to have to learn emotional presence. You're going to have to learn to be grounded. You're going to have to learn to stand like a fucking mountain as a man. Because if you're emotionally closed off, no amount of sexual chemistry will bridge that gap. She wants to feel your presence. She wants more than your performance in the bedroom. She don't give a fuck. Like, okay, she loves it when you perform in the bedroom, but she only wants that performance after she feels your presence as her man, not as her fucking fuck boy. We have this societal disjointed belief of men being fuck boys all of a sudden, and we're only good for what we do in the bedroom. It's about as bad as we're only good for what we do at work so we can provide money, and now we're only good for sex. I mean, stop fucking diminishing who you are as a man. You're more than your fucking dick. You're more than your bank account. You're a fucking human being. Right? She wants to feel your strength emotionally before she can open to you physically. If you're weak-minded, weak emotionally, you're emotionally erratic, you don't have control of your emotions, or you're emotionless, you're not going to feel connection with a feminine partner. She's definitely not going to feel connection with you because she's going to be scared the fuck of you. Sex becomes deeper and more meaningful when it's built on emotional trust, not just physical attraction. Physical attraction happens. Like my wife and I'm physically attracted to her to the nth degree. She's the sexiest woman I've ever met. She is the desire of all my heart. And that being said, what makes our physical intimacy so fucking great is like I can be all of me with her and she doesn't judge it. I can have shit days, I can have great days. I can go through things and she's there for me, and she can go through things and I'm there for her. And in that, we allow ourselves to be seen and understood. And when you're able to see into somebody, you feel more deeply connected to that person. And then when you express yourself physically with one another, that presence and that energy gets poured out into one another. It's a beautiful spot. So the real fix is this. It's a big part of this is you got to lead with your heart, not your dick. Stop treating sex as a transaction. Start leading with emotional presence. Your sexual experiences should be transformational, not transactional. And the only way they become transformational is like the connection becomes deeper. Then the physical intimacy becomes more deep and more connected. Second part of this fix is open emotionally first. Drop the armor. Let her see you. Let her understand you. Let her feel you. Let her know you. If not, she's not going to fully trust you. If she doesn't fully trust you, she's not going to do that thing you like. She's just not. Don't seek for validation. Like if you're craving connection, meet her emotionally first. I promise you, if you decide like, hey, I really need some love right now, I need some attention, meet her in her emotions first, and you will get everything you want and more. If you're just seeking validation through sex or just to feel better momentarily because you had a bad day or a shit moment, or you just don't know what to do with yourself, you are trying to manipulate her to get you to feel better. That doesn't create connection. That creates disconnection. Be steady, not just seductive. If you come in like every now and then and you bring on the Rizzler Like you're just bringing out all the fucking lines, and you're trying to do all the things in one day to get the outcome that you want, instead of just fucking be that guy every day. See your woman every day. Appreciate your woman every day. Love on your woman every day. Make her feel desired every day. Not just when you fucking need it. Yeah, that feels good. Oh, I'm only going to do it when I feel like I want it. Fuck that. I want my wife to understand every day when she wakes up and every day when she goes to bed that I desire her to the nth degree, emotionally, physically, spiritually, every way you can think of. It's about being steady, being consistent, being integral. If you say you're committed to this relationship, you're committed to her, then fucking pour into her. Stop pouring into your own fucking self, hoping that by doing this, you're going to get something met for you. Remember, sex is just an extension of the emotional connection. Sex is powerful when it's built on emotional depth, but without emotional connection, it becomes hollow. She wants to feel you, not just physically, but emotionally. And that only happens when you're willing to stop hiding behind your bullshit. Stop hiding behind your lies. Stop hiding behind the mask. Stop hiding behind the programs. Allow yourself to be seen. So in closing, my brothers, stop thinking your dick will solve your heart problems. It won't. Use your heart to solve your heart problems. Lead with emotions first. Stay present when it's hard, and it's going to be hard. And then build connection outside the bedroom. And the intimacy inside the bedroom will follow. Right? I remember I've learned one rule from a mentor a long time ago. If you want to enjoy the dessert of her body, then you need to be willing to lay out the courses in her mind, the courses of meals. Like you treat the day as if you're putting on the best dinner in her mind. You're building up the anticipation. You're building up the desire. You're building up the connection. You're not sitting around just microwaving it. Oh, I'm ready. Are you ready? Let's fuck. It don't work that way. Work on building the desire. All right? That's the real work of masculine strength. That's the real work of being grounded. That's the real work of creating polarity in the relationship. And now, in practice, go out there and try. Start trying to connect emotionally. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to learn. And if you want to learn some more, I have some courses on that. I do one-on-one coaching with men on this, where I teach men how to stay grounded in themselves, how to manage their own emotional body, how to communicate their emotions, and how to be more masculine in who they are. I have a program coming out called Masculine Mastery. If you want to check it out, check out the link in the bio, and check it out. I would love to have you in there. But this is where it's at. So, guys, the next time you come on here, hopefully you have started practicing your emotional connection with your feminine partner, so that you can deepen the physical connection with your feminine partner. Have a good one.